What is up, guys? It is Sam here, and I have an amazing video for you tonight on the California primaries. I've been seeing a lot of reports coming out. I think I saw several on Twitter about something from CNN and their polls and different things about California, and I had just finished my research on California, so I thought this was a perfect time to be able to get this out to everybody, where we take a look at actual, like, if we're trying to understand what America's actually interested in, we use Google and YouTube search volume to do that, instead of a poll that might have 1,000 people responding to it that has so many different biases in it. We want to go where, like, people, we know it's actually going to be the most authentic, right? So when you go to YouTube and you go to Google, you're looking for something, and Google tracks all that in your search volume. So we take a look at that and we stack rank the candidates from 1 through 10 in a few different categories. Then we take an average to see who's actually number one. With that being said, if this is your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, you better be pressing that thumbs up button, and it's good to freaking see you. So let's get rolling. So as I mentioned, we have Google Trends here, which tracks both YouTube search volume as well as Google search volume. So you just put in the search terms you're looking for here at the top, and then you search over a certain, well, this is for shopping. Thought I heard web, but you search for these terms over the web, right? So this is all of Google searches, and you get to see over here on the left the average search volume for each candidate's name, and we stack rank those to see who had the highest and lowest on 3 different time periods. So we started at the 12-month, and then we went into the 90-day, and then we came into the 30-day. And we did all this just for the search volume on Google and on YouTube in the state of California. So we get a good understanding that I think California has something like 40 million people living there. So this is a tremendous amount of data in terms of understanding what Californians are actually interested in, versus a poll that is put out by an organization that is clearly shown demonstrated like biases in one way or another, right? Let's just go look to the actual source of what people are interested in, the internet, like when they're actually looking for something. And then I put all of that along with the ranking that is published on Real Clear Politics. And I just have this ranking here, right? This is Real Clear Politics, and I pull up the California Democratic primary. So I took the scores, right? We have, according to them, Warren first, then Biden, then Sanders, then Buttigieg. Harris is still on here for some reason. Clearly they update it quite often. Then Yang, Bloomberg, Klobuchar, and so on and so forth. And I took that from my research and theirs, and I put it into a spreadsheet, and this is what I got. I apologize I don't have some cool pictures of it. I was just so excited after I was making this that I was like, I needed to do this. So I didn't actually put any pictures up this time. I apologize. Still gives me a thumbs up, though, or a thumbs down. I should have put more work into it. You're correct. So what we have here is Andrew Yang is number 1, Bernie Sanders is number 2, Joe Biden is number 3, Tulsi Gabbard is number 4, number 5 is Pete Buttigieg. So that's interesting, right? Because when we take a look at Real Clear Politics, we see that right off the bat they're off by 5 spots with Yang. They're putting him at number 6, as we just looked at. But what are people actually looking for? Yang. That's interesting, right? Not to say the least. There's a bunch of, they're off on pretty much most of them, but some other notable things here is Tulsi Gabbard. So they have her as 9th, and she's actually being searched for 4th. So she's the 4th most interested candidate, according to the people who are doing it in California, versus some very biased ways of capturing data, sampling data, asking questions. We get to just actually look at the data ourselves. There's no biases involved. It's 2019. We have all the data. So let's take a closer look at some of the numbers over the course of the year and see if we can notice any trends here. It does look like Buttigieg has stepped up for the last 30 days on Google in terms of people searching for him and interest. Definitely looks like Biden has lost ground from at least the beginning of the year being number 2 to about now being number 5. It's been steady at 5 for the 30-day and the 90-day, but I'm not sure which direction it's going to head next. I have a feeling maybe he's seeing some when I'm looking at the data, like not what I'm feeling, but when I'm actually looking at the data, he has seen a spike up for something of interest. I don't know. I saw this thing on Twitter where he was like basically calling a dude fat and like giving him a hard time, and I was like, wow, that's not somebody I would want in charge of running my country at all. Somebody who can't level up the conversation like that, bro, like you should stop running right now. But anyways, um, so what I feel is that he should probably lose ground, but I don't know because clearly what I feel versus like what's happening are two potentially different things there. But time will tell. Time will tell. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, and if you use the hashtag Stolt at the next section of these videos, I get into the Q&A where I get into your questions or comments, and we talk about them live on the video here. So don't forget to use hashtag Stolt, just like the channel name here. Elizabeth Warren's kind of been up and down, like a yo-yo here, where over the last 30 days she's lost interest. It is kind of interesting to see that the people who have had the most sustained interest, which is kind of interesting, have been across since I've been doing these for the last 2.5, 3 months, has been Andrew Yang and Bernie Sanders, with just in the last like week or two seeing a slight decrease for Bernie. But I also saw a slight decrease for Andrew, and then it looked like it started picking back up for him too. So I'm not sure, but those two have been the most constant in terms of the amount of interest we're seeing both on the statewide level as well as on the national rankings that we do. So if you want to check out the national rankings where we look at the whole entire country and the same factors, go back to the channel, but we also look at like the website ranking and their donations and their social media to see how quickly they're growing and how many likes they're doing and how much output they're putting in terms of content. So if you want to check all that out, we do it on a national level as well. Um, Interestingly, Tom has actually moved up a good job, Tom. I don't know much about Tom. I've caught tiny little clips here and there because I don't actually pay attention to what anybody one of the candidates say, but I do pick up little bits because I am marketing and trying to and I'm doing research on this perpetually. This stuff just shows up on my Google feed because Google knows that I'm researching this kind of stuff. So I do catch little tidbits here and there, and the tiny fractions that I can remember or think about when I've seen either headlines or caught a little like audio bit from Tom is that it seems like he's got the right direction. I just don't know if he can build that trust, because it just I feel like I don't know if he has enough time, unless he's got a shitload of money to really, which he does, right? He's a supposed billionaire, so depending on how much he's willing to spend, if he could really ramp up the paid distribution of his message, he could. I mean, we could see some serious like, especially when you consider like if you're gonna do like a white older dude, right? Like Joe Biden or Tom, I think once Tom's message gets out more, not that I have any idea what his message is, but I would just assume that probably a lot of people would appreciate Tom more than Biden. That's just pure speculation on my part. So you can tell me how wrong I am in the comments below using hashtag Stolt, and then I can call myself out in the next comment section. This has actually been pretty consistent across YouTube for the top 3 here on YouTube search volume. Let's see if there's been any other movement here that's been noticeable, and nothing crazy happening. It does look like Elizabeth Warren and Tulsi have moved up a little bit and to take their place. In a worse spot was Pete Buttigieg, which is kind of interesting. Also, in my migration through marketing and using Twitter and try to understand the collective of like what America is thinking in terms of this, because I want these to be accurate so that I can understand what's happening. And through some of the just like headline type bits and pieces that I pulled together, I've noticed that there's a big, almost a sense of arrogance that comes through in some sentiment that I'm feeling towards Pete in terms of comments and just the essence of like what I'm seeing out there. It's just that gut feeling that seems to be resonating out there in terms of what's a little bit of it. I don't know if it's been growing or if I just started to notice this, but I feel like I've seen it a couple times in the comments and then over on Twitter, and I don't know. I'm curious to hear what you guys think as well, because that is like one of the most valuable things is getting into the comment section, because you guys leave some freaking awesome comments, just like Russ did here by using the hashtag Stolt, so we could talk about it. We get into my YouTube analytics, and I have this option to be able to search for hashtag Stolt, so we can pull these up. And this is from Russ Tenson. What's good? I apologize if I slaughtered your name, but review the results of FDR election. He won 60% of popular and 89% of electoral candidates. A landslide victory. I suspect Yang may beat FDR. The statistics you are studying may turn out to be historic. First of all, I appreciate your belief, because I also believe that what we are doing here is the future. I don't think that most people who put any amount of thought into the old way of doing things versus, even if you don't do it this way, you don't like fucking do it this way at all, right? But like just how we used to do things versus like we have the internet, and if you don't do what I'm doing, like some derivative of it where you're able to more accurately capture like the understanding of Americans, I think we should at least have that conversation. And I think this is at a very pivotal moment, because the ability to get one's message out through organic and or paid media is really at a tipping point, because we've got a lot of things going on here. We have the most amazing time to be alive and get distribution at no cost. Things like YouTube and other social media, you don't have to pay to get the message out, right? Instead of like me going not door to door in this fucking town I live in, and then flying somewhere else and going door to door or trying to get on a radio or a television show, right? Like, there's the internet. And that's what you need to do, is be able to get your message out to more people. So there's two ways of doing that. As I mentioned, there's the organic way of doing it, or the paid distribution way of getting your message out, called advertising, right? And that's also shifting at the same time. So we have both of these gargantuan shifts happening, and it's going to be super interesting to see how this plays out, because right, we not only do we shift how we're distributing our messages, but we've also shifted where the dollars are getting spent. So now we really get to see who is paying attention, because and I think you like really went down a rabbit hole on this one with me, and I really do appreciate the comment, because this is why I say there's so much gold in the comment section, guys. You really need to dive in there and get involved and use hashtag Soul so I can find your comment. But it's at a pivotal moment, because the players who are able to shift and understand that the ability to get one's message out the most effectively does not mean doing things the way they used to be done from a political marketing standpoint, but also from an advertising standpoint. So we're going to see some real interesting players here, because the ones who are able to win are going to be able to do both, right? So what I'm kind of sensing-ish is that Andrew Yang is understanding a little bit more of the nuances of how to get organic distribution, where nobody else is actually paying, like, they're going in a little bit, right? Like, they might have their ad spend budget and it's primarily old school, like, television shit, right? Or I don't know what else they advertise in like fucking magazine. I don't know, fucking however else they advertise. The primary thing I was thinking about is television, but I'm sure that there's plenty of other billboards and types of things that they advertise in. And the candidates who are able to shift that from like getting in front of a couple people that way to taking that same dollars and putting it online, you can get in front of a retarded amount of people really cheap. Like, I'm running ads for my buddy's business to help him out, but also so that I can fucking learn faster. And so far he spent $64.68, and I've got him like a 13 cents click through. Yeah, 13 cents per click and 613 cents. 631 clicks for 13 cents each. So, like, you can get your message out. And that's people who are clicking on a link. So imagine taking that same thing and being like, running ads to Yang 2020. And you spend 13 cents to get people over there. And then, all right, 631. And then how many people will donate, right? So, for example, now I'm really going down a fucking rabbit hole, Ross. This is all your fault. So 631 for $64, right? And we'll just say maybe like a 50 basis point conversion, right? So that's half of 1%. That's 3.1 people would donate, we'll say. And if the average donation, I have no idea, one of you guys who pays attention to the details, if the average donation were, let's see here, if the average donation was $64.28 divided by what, 315, if the average donation is above $20.37, then it makes sense to dump your money in there because you're just getting money out. Hopefully anybody who's astute can pay attention to that. But basically, what happens, you can run ads on Facebook and say for Yang, or I'm sure there's others who are spending money online, but if you can put in, right, to get that amount per click, and you have a 50 basis point conversion, so I'm assuming pretty low, because some of the conversions I'm seeing on some of the stuff I'm doing is substantially higher than that. So just at that conversion, because you're targeting them, you know who they are, you get, if you can get more than $20.37, if on average those donations come out to be $21 each, then it makes sense to put more money in there to get more, because you're just going to get more money out of it when they're donating. Hopefully everybody follows along. And now to go even further down the rabbit hole, because it looks like Russ was amazing and left 2 comments. Okay, so let's read this quickly. Anybody who's still here, press that thumbs up button. I appreciate you guys. I get and agree. Negative attention is sticky and good. This is in reference to the Iowa rankings video, which I just released if you want to check that out. But that is where attention, positive or negative, is generally going to be a good thing no matter what, if the thing or person is good enough and is persistent enough, because it increases awareness, and some of that awareness stays around, and as he mentions, it's sticky, which I talk about in the video. But only to a limit for a single person. True, I do believe they have to be good enough. Nice, you know about Say and Tesla. What's good? Nobody knows about Say and Tesla. I write for Seeking Olive, a freaking awesome, Ross. That's cool. I actually just wrote another article for them to publish. I got to figure out how to make money online, because I just quit my job, and I currently make around $150 a month, and that's not enough to live off of. So I'm figuring I've got about 20 months worth of savings, a little bit more. So I'm going to figure it out. I don't know. So if you have any ideas, hit me up. Classic example of persistent negative pressure by big oil shorts that is working to depress. What he is referencing is what is going on with Tesla. So first of all, Tesla and Say is a platform kind of like a Reddit in the sense that um, shareholders of companies can ask questions and then other shareholders will vote that question up or down, right? In terms of, well, I don't know if it's down, I think it's just up, in terms of what they would like to ask at the shareholder meeting, right? So Tesla live streams theirs. And I don't know if other companies do this. I think maybe Amazon did it. I think I listened to Amazon's earnings call, and I think they took some from here too, but I'm not 100% sure. Ross might know. But then instead of just having an analyst ask questions who tend to be very myopic in their viewpoint, they don't have they're very short-sighted, right? Myopic is short-sightedness, and some of the questions are very like non-important questions in my opinion because I'm long-term in the way that I like to think about what is happening. So it doesn't matter what's happening in the micro if you just look in the macro to understand what's really going on. It makes a sense, and there's a ton of negative news around Tesla, where it's at the same point where there's all this negative press around Tesla, which is like causing more interest in Tesla, and like the Cybertruck they just released, right? Awesome, amazing, like things that are not even talked about, but how ugly the design is, and the design is actually what's fucking killing it. And we can talk about that in another video, which I probably will be talking about soon. But they've gotten over 250,000 orders. Like that's talking about the negative attention is staying there because then they stick around for a while, right? And then they're like, holy shit, Tesla's actually doing something because of all this negative news and like just what's happened with some of the candidates, right? All this negative news. Now they are some of that's sticking around and to the tune of 250,000 plus orders in 5 fucking days. That's like some retarded shit right there. After that, I should actually probably stop because this is going to be a monsterly long video. He does reference, though, that January donations, he says Obama endorsement or January donations are going to be super interesting to watch. Yes, I agree they are, and I appreciate the awesome comment. If you guys have any comments, leave them down below. Hashtag Stolt. Peace.